Welcome to Adam's Athenaeum. Let's take a look together through the news and records of our times as we shed light upon the unvarnished truth. Thanks for coming back to listen to this episode, where once again we're going to be talking about Joe Biden and him accusing Republicans of using migrants as pawns or political tools. Now, let's go ahead and start here at the Washington. Let's double check. This was the Washington Times. This was uploaded just yesterday. It's titled Biden accuses Republican border state governors of using migrants as props. And as we read a little bit into the article, says President Biden accused Republicans on Thursday of playing politics with human beings after two busloads of immigrants sent by the governor of Texas arrived in front of the Naval Observatory where Vice President Kamala Harris lives. In an address during the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute's gala kicking off Hispanic Heritage Month, Mr. Biden said GOP border state governors were using migrants as props by busing and flying them into blue states that pride themselves on being illegal immigrant sanctuaries. What they're doing is simply wrong. It's un-American, it's reckless, Joe Biden said. We have a process in place to manage migrants at the border. We're working to make sure it's safe and orderly and humane. Republican officials should not interfere with that process by waging these political stunts. Now, let's switch over to the next. I got a video here of everything that Biden said. Let's go ahead and pull it up. To start talking about it, I mean, first off, we got Biden trying to make a political stunt of this. He's trying to say the Republicans are using migrants as props. Well, I would ask the question then, what is Joe Biden doing with allowing illegal immigration? I mean, I, among many others, speculate that he uses migrants or the illegal immigration crisis to help change the voter base. That's why they don't want to ask if you're an illegal alien or a migrant on the census. They just want people to vote. And they hope that by encouraging illegal immigration, those people will in turn vote for them. Now, let me make sure I got this video up, make sure it plays all right. Okay. Let's check this out from WUSA 9, titled Biden Criticizes Republican Governors for Busing Migrants to D.C.
Is a migrant crisis happening right now in our city. We told you yesterday about the buses that arrived on the vice president's doorstep. Now Mayor Muriel Bowser is in Miami to discuss the ongoing immigration issues with other U.S. mayors. Thank you for.
Sorry, everyone. The internet's a little slow trying to run all this streaming software. We'll continue it once it loads a little bit more. Let's see how it's doing. Nope, still loading. Sorry for the hiccup. So in this, I'm going to start prefacing the video for you a little bit, give you a little bit of insight. Essentially, to begin the episode or their segment, they start talking about how upset they are in Washington that, and along with Mayor Muriel Bowser, who's the mayor of Washington, D.C., they're upset that Texas, Florida, and New Mexico and Arizona mayors and governors have been busing and flying migrants to their cities. Now, let's start off with the obvious. Pretty much everywhere that these illegal migrants have been sent to are sanctuary cities. Martha's Vineyard, New York, California, was another one, Minnesota, New Jersey. It's silly how big of a deal we're making of it. Joe Biden has allowed this crisis to happen, and he is now trying to make the Republicans seem like they're making a political tool of the situation. How do we know this is wrong? Well, obviously these border states have tried to allow as many migrants as possible to live there and move, migrate into the economy, get jobs, get in the workforce as best they can. Does that work? To some degree, but there's been so many migrants for so many years now that they can't keep up with the influx of migrants. So what do they have to do? Well, if you can't house your populace or the illegal migrations that are coming in, what's the next plausible solution? Oh, well, there's cities who say anyway that they have no problem accepting illegal immigration and that they will not deport these illegal migrants. Well, then, as any responsible, wise, smart governor would do, you would say, oh, I'll send the migrants there, especially to Washington, D.C., because the states, I don't know if everyone knows, the states don't always have the authority to deport an illegal immigrant. The federal government has to be the one to do it. ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Division, has to deport individuals. So these sanctuary cities are now upset that buses and flight loads of migrants have been sent to their cities, when just a few months ago, actually over the last couple of years even, Joe Biden has been using the major airlines, the U.S. Air Force, to illegally fly migrants around in the dead of night, hoping that Americans wouldn't notice. And every time that a news article popped up, it got buried in the algorithms. So Joe Biden was originally the one flying these migrants in the dead of night, holding these people hostage, as people are trying to claim Ron DeSantis did. Biden originally started this. Biden originally flew people around the country in the dead of night. He aided and abetted illegal immigration. Now, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Florida, they've been trying to deal with this problem as best they can, and they can't anymore. So what do? They send the people to where the authority lies. I mean, where else do you send them? Washington is the most affected place. Martha's Vineyard is going to make a political statement. Jersey, Minneapolis, California, it's going to make a political statement. But Washington's the most affected place. And yet the left is outraged by it. They're calling Republicans racist and that we want to stop migration and that we don't care about migrants. They don't get it. They don't get it. All right, let's give it another try. See if this video loaded. If not, I'll give a quick summary on it.
For joining us on this Friday. I'm Leslie Foster.
And I'm Larry Miller. President Joe Biden is criticizing the Republican governors who have sent these buses of migrants to so-called sanctuary cities throughout the Northeast, including right here at home. And here's what the president said at an event last night.
All right. Well, again, we've already read part of the quotes of Joe Biden and what he said, and how upset he was with the migrant situation. He criticizes Republicans for busing migrants to D.C. Everyone's trying to call Republicans, or they're trying to call Ron DeSantis, saying like a kidnapper, saying he's taking hostages. Apparently, these people aren't educated enough to know that these people got charter flights. They had pretty nice planes, actually. Probably nicer planes than you or I have ever flown on. They got charter buses, sometimes. How many of you have been on a Greyhound? To some degree, they've been treated better than us. They got to come in during COVID without a COVID test, without COVID screening, and free roam the country. Yet we were tied down by COVID restrictions and guidelines. No, let me remind you, it is not the Republicans who are using the illegal immigration crisis as a political tool or some kind of game or anything for attention. It's simply, we have to do what's right. And doing what's right is sending the problem to the only people that can basically fix it. Washington. Joe Biden, now we have your attention. Now you see Just a small taste of what the southern states have gone through. Think about this. You're upset, all of you who have recently received busloads or flight loads of illegal migrants. You're upset. Okay, let me remind you. Biden, in the dead of night, sent hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants all across the country. Nobody batted an eye. Now you're upset because a Republican does the same thing, but in a more legal way. Right? What can we do to make this better? There's a reason I wore this shirt today. Exercise your right to vote. Obviously, we need to get Joe Biden and his entire regime out of office. Kamala Harris, Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. I'd be daring to say that we need to vote out the majority of people in Congress, most of our local and state politicians, and we need to start over. We need to make our voices effective in the midterm. We need to make our voting voices powerful and heard in the midterms and in 2024. We can't allow Biden and the media to spin lies about what's actually happening out there, right? Biden says Republicans are bad for doing this. He did it to begin with. The other day, Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House spokeswoman, she tried to say that Trump did not finish the wall, that Trump was unable to finish the wall, and that this presidency, the Biden presidency, is going to be the ones to finish the wall. And that's a priority for them. Really? Really? Because, we have this thing called the internet where we can go back a couple years and look at things you've said. And guess what? Not even that long ago, you all were saying, oh, man. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. Karine Jean-Pierre. She's trying to say that, oh, damn it, lost it again. I'm sorry, folks. Just got off work. My mind's still a little bit of everywhere. My mind's still thinking of how to work on plumbing and electrical and everything related to fixing apartments, whereas the other half of my brain is trying to work on this episode still. So I apologize for that. We can't allow Joe Biden to twist history. We can't allow them to divert what the truth means. We have to be honest about what the truth is and what's happening. We have to be informed about what's happening around us. We can't allow the White House and the president to lie to millions of Americans through the media and have it be passed on as truth. Whereas people like me who bring the facts and the receipts and present them to you get called liars. We get fact checked and we get banned, shadow banned. Make your vote, make your voice matter. Now, I appreciate you all coming back for this episode. I think the live stream part went better. However, there was a couple hiccups that obviously I still need to address. This time it was more on me. So I appreciate you all bearing with me through this episode. I will try to take more time off of work before I start recording an episode next time so I can be a little more focused. If you think this message needs to be shared, as I think it does, please share it with everyone. And if you would like to disprove me, if you can, in the comments, let's have at it. Otherwise, let's have a peaceful discussion down there. And I look forward to seeing you all for the next video. I'll be uploading more this weekend. I'll see you then.